Hello there, and thank you for joining us. I'm Egosa Igumbo, and it's good to have you again on a fresh episode of your favorite oil and gas show, Energy and You. We highlight weekly events and developments within the energy sector with a focus on the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited. This week, NNPC Limited seeks to consolidate its renewed gains on profit with a charge to its subunits to leverage on market and industry opportunities. We'll also show you steps taken by the National Oil Company to utilize gas resources through a first indigenous floating LNG project. Plus, gender diversity and inclusion in the energy sector gets support. All these and more in a moment. Stay with us. We start off with top stories making the round in the global energy space this week. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority released 4 new regulations this week, tagged the Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Environmental Regulation 2023. The regulation would, amongst other things, guide the operations of the Midstream and Downstream Environmental Remediation Fund. It is designed to ensure and prioritize environmental standards and practices across the midstream and downstream sector, and to provide resources for the cleanup, rehabilitation, or management of negative environmental impacts from petroleum operations nationwide. Oil prices eased at the start of the week as traders awaited more rate hike cues from US and European central banks, with tightening supply and hopes for Chinese stimulus underpinning Brent at $80 a barrel. Brent crude futures therefore dipped 31 cents to $80.76 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was at $76.74 a barrel, down by 33 cents. The benchmarks rose 1.5% and 2.2% respectively last week, their fourth straight of the week of gains, as supply is expected to tighten following OPEC Plus cuts. Chinese oil refiners and petrochemical companies are investing tens of billions of dollars to produce high-end chemicals for solar panels and lithium-ion batteries to profit from growing demand for energy transition technologies. The investments illustrate China's drive to reduce its import dependence and further cement its dominance of renewable energy and electric vehicle supply chains. You're still watching Energy and You. The strategic decision of the federal government to adopt gas as its transition fuel got a major boost with the signing of an agreement between NNPC Limited and one of its partners, UTM Offshore Limited, an indigenous gas processing company. The term of the agreement is to build a floating LNG facility. The facility will boost gas utilization in line with the Decade of Gas Declaration and create jobs for the teeming youths in the country. Take a look.
Here, representatives of the partnering organizations are seated for the signing of the Heads of Terms HOT agreement to build Nigeria's indigenous floating liquefied natural gas facility. With this agreement signed, a new vista of opportunities in the domestication and utilization of Nigeria's abundant gas resources is opened.
It's all about investing, putting money, and money must come out. So we'll invest very wisely, all of us. At the end, we'll see the value that will come out of this project. Otherwise, trust that NNPC Limited is solidly behind this project in every sense, and we'll work this together.
NNPC Limited and UTM Offshore Limited in November 2022 signed the Front-End Engineering Design Agreement (FEED). The HOT agreement sets the stage for the commencement of the project. The Executive Vice President, Gas, Power and New Energy, NNPC Limited, Abdul Kabir Ahmed, re-echoed the significance of collaborations in commercializing the nation's gas resources through partnerships and investments.
We have signed off to take 20%. And we will do whatever it takes to to ensure that this project is executed. This has culminated into agreeing with the head of terms. It means we will progress with other activities. We will begin to participate in the FEED and all other things that are related to this project to ensure that it has come to fruition.
For Mr. Julius Rohn, Group Managing Director of UTM Offshore Limited, the partnership with NNPC Limited is a milestone achievement that showcases the capability of indigenous companies to collaborate with world-class organizations in driving growth within Nigeria's energy sector.
This project has the ability to bring into this country 300,000 tons of LPG to support domestic requirement, and this is in line with the energy transition and also support the demand for energy in Nigeria and reduce deforestation and also reduce gas flaring. We're very proud to work with NNPC to deliver this first floating LNG.
The signing of the Heads of Terms Agreement demonstrates the commitment of Nigeria through its national oil company to exploiting, utilizing and monetizing its gas resources while decarbonizing its portfolio in a systematic manner in line with dictates of energy transition. The floating LNG project is expected to create over 7,000 jobs, contributing to the nation's economic growth and development.
As NNPC Limited's transition process continues towards becoming a commercially viable global energy company, its downstream directorate is realigning activities for profitability, energy security, and sustainability. The division, which is responsible for the monetization of processed hydrocarbons for profit generation, held a strategy retreat recently to review its operations and business processes as part of efforts to attain optimal efficiency.
The two-day retreat brought together executives and leaders of various strategic business units under the downstream directorates such as NNPC Trading Limited, NNPC Shipping Limited, NNPC Retail Limited, as well as NNPC Refineries. The theme of the retreat, titled Winning Big in the New Business Environment, is aimed at enabling the Directorate brainstorm on practical steps that will birth a blueprint of objectives, bringing in streams of revenue and profit for the company by maximizing opportunities in refining and petrochemicals, trading and retailing. NNPC Limited's Group CEO Mele Kyari brought to fore the company's expectation from the executives.
We have access to capital. We have the best of personnel any company can have. And I'm happy, everybody here, we're excellent workers, no doubt about it. Skilled. Nobody has the quality of workers that we have, always said this. But quality of workers, as long as it doesn't translate into value, it is PowerPoint worker. And you can't deliver this except we work together. Believing in the company, supporting the company, continuously doing things to make sure things work, not to see how things don't work. Yes, we have culture problem, I agree, and that's why it's important we dilute this culture. Retail business and LPG connection. Tell me when we can have these kits in all the stations and beyond it. And the partnership that we have been planning, we have been talking about it. So it's enough. So tell us how we are going to get it done. So tell me, in collaboration with Gas and Power, how we can get this LPG CNG thing to work. So we can't afford to fail. Not just because the law said don't do, or shareholders won't like it, because it's not honorable. It's not fulfilling. And you must watch your cost. What you shouldn't do, don't do.
In his speech, the company's chief financial officer, Mr. Umar Ajia, who was represented by the treasurer, Mr. Isiaku Abdullahi, focused on exploring financing options to get new and existing projects completed in order to rake in the much-anticipated profit.
We don't have our own vessels. These are new investments that we can make money out of it. The green energy solutions were still behind, but these are new investments that we need to introduce so that we diversify our businesses. So for us, in the finance group, for us to support the businesses, these new investments and the old ones, we need to get financing options so that we'll be able to fund the new projects and compete favorably in a new environment of a deregulated market.
For the convener of the retreat, the NNPC Limited's Executive Vice President Downstream, Mr. Adeyemi Adetunji, emphasized the need for the identification of multiple performance strategies that will complement the journey of NNPC Limited to being profitable and a global energy company of choice.
We have to change the way we trade now. We have to earn more margins for each molecule of hydrocarbon that we trade and return value to our shareholders. For the refineries, we have to rehabilitate them and we have to maximize value from the existing refineries. So we need to do more with those refineries. Now we are fixing the fuels plants. We also need to fix the petrochemicals attached to those refineries.
The retreat also addressed business ownerships and strategies to be adopted by executives across the value chain to enable them deliver on the task ahead. There were also discussions on the global trends that could shape the downstream markets in Nigeria over the next decade.
There are going to be areas where two entities will need to share an objective to make an outcome happen. And there's also going to be individual organizations that have objectives that they have complex control over. Common, shared, and individual institutional aspirations. How we will, those are the things, those are the pros I want us to be reflecting about.
Some of the participating executives shared their objectives, focus, and expectations from the retreat.
Look, the refineries are coming upstream. We're a customer of the refinery. When are they coming on stream? How much are they going to produce? What is NPSC going to do with their pipelines? Are they going to be a major part of our supply chain going forward, or how long will it come? And deregulation, of course, drives a lot of future demand, but also potentially energy mix changes. Is PMS going to be the main fuel, or are other fuels going to be like CNG? Are they going to play a much more important role going forward? So I think these are all important questions. And although we think that we got quite a few of the strands of thoughts and going forward there, it's only when you start sharing them and talk to others about it, you sometimes come to, hey, we missed that, let's add that, or any other thing.
We contributed almost 70% of the turnover and the bottom line. So we're looking at what is happening now, especially the deregulation of the petroleum product in Nigeria. So we need to have this kind of strategic thinking so that we change the way we do our businesses, of course, for better.
The key takeaway is that, to be able to ascertain that the enablers that will allow us to dominate the market from a downstream perspective, more cohesiveness, and ensuring that NNPC Limited as a strong brand becomes even more dominant in the downstream sector in Nigeria.
The retreat by the Downstream Directorate is part of the renewed drive of NNPC Limited towards profitability. The company is also leveraging on the opportunities of the Petroleum Industry Act as a game changer for enhancing commercialization, profitability and sustainability, as well as sustaining the drive towards transparency.
The fifth edition of the annual roundtable event organized by the Women in Energy, Oil and Gas Nigeria took place recently in Abuja. The aim is to help women in the industry connect with like-minded professionals, share ideas and information critical to fostering gender diversity and inclusion in the sector. Take a look.
It is a strategic forum for the development of female executives, entrepreneurs and career women in the sector. The 2023 theme was titled The Equipped Woman, which is focused on work-life integration and work-life balance. In her goodwill message, Mrs. Esther Mchelia, a member of the United Nations Committee on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, talked about efforts being put in place to address gender issues globally and promote women in decision-making processes.
We as a committee, we are embarking on what we call GR40. I am a member of that task force, and I can tell you that Saudi Arabia has moved ahead of us as a country. Saudi Arabia has now put in place laws that allow women to be in leadership. They are changing laws in many sectors, and they are deliberate about it. and they want to be in the vanguard of this new framework that talks about how women should feature and be captured in decision-making systems.
At the event, representatives of the NNPC Limited, such as the Special Guest of Honor, Engineer Adeyemi Adetunji, EVP Downstream, and the General Counsel for NNPC Gas Marketing Company Limited, Dr. Deborah Usman, emphasized the role of women in achieving organizational set goals and targets.
There has been, and there are going to be, good change in the energy industry. A lot of people, especially the younger ones, male and female alike, are not predisposed, to the energy industry. People are more into the service, industries now, more into entertainment industry and the rest. So I think this is a very good platform to recruit, women, especially girls and the rest, to start with, so that they can also be part of that force.
As energy women, adequately equipping ourselves is what sets us apart and propels us towards success individually and collectively in the energy, oil and gas industry, where we have an underrepresentation of women.
The event was crowned with a symbolic tree planting for the WEOG decarbonization project. In a related development, organized to deepen the participation of women in the industry, the Kaduna Zone of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasan Women Commission, recently held a special town hall meeting in Kaduna State for capacity development of women in the sector.
We are here to make sure that every woman finds her own platform on how to excel. We are here to make sure that whatever has been happening in the country, that women will earn their voice to it.
We want to move forward. We want to strategize. We want each sectors to come out with good and outstanding women that will speak anywhere and our voices will be heard.
From discussions that have taken place in this room, it is clear that gender diversity and inclusion are not just ethical imperatives, they are essential for the success and sustainability of the energy, oil and gas industry.
We'll take a short break here and bring you a knowledge-sharing moment on the company's brand identity. Stay with us. You're watching Energy and You. It's time now to bring you an update on the war on crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism.
From Abua in River State to Bokoda in Delta State, the war on crude oil theft is on, and the industry-wide security collaboration continues to record remarkable progress. Between the 15th to 21st of July 2023, a total of 240 incidents were recorded. 93 illegal connections were uncovered in the past week, mostly in Bayelsa State, where disconnections and repairs are ongoing. 69 illegal refineries were discovered and destroyed in areas such as Upata and Abua in River State, where thriving illegal businesses have been brought to a halt. 27 cases of pipeline vandalism were also recorded and are being repaired. 13 automatic identification system infractions were flagged using NNPC's maritime intelligence system and have been escalated to the Navy through NNPC's incidents management and reporting application. 30 wooden boats used to convey stolen crude were confiscated in the past week, some in Bokoda in Delta State, while 2 illegal vessels were arrested and 5 cases of oil spill recorded. 13 of these incidents were recorded in the deep blue water. 41 of these incidents were recorded in the western region of the Niger Delta. 169 were recorded in the central region, while 17 took place in the eastern part of the Niger Delta's oil-producing region. For NNPC Limited, there is no backing down on the war on crude oil theft until the menace is eradicated for good.
Nigerians are gradually coming to terms with the economic decision of the federal government to remove subsidy on petrol, judged by industry experts and economists as the right step taken by government. Energy and You stepped out to know how Nigerians have adjusted after the subsidy removal.
Yeah, the fuel subsidy removal has forced so many people to adjust in their lifestyle. You can see you have to, at some point, drop your car to get public transport to be able to meet up some appointment because of the high cost of fuel. You see, so really we are really adjusting because we hope that there will be light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, I think before, if I'm going to work, I do Uber. So these days, I just do the regular along taxi in order to save cost. And most of the time, I run fuel at my working place. So I told my tailors this time we're not going to be using too much of fuel, you know. So we bank on electricity. So we're trying to adjust, you know, just to make things easy and life easy. I think Nigeria they adjust to any situation. So we are coping.
I was amazed when I got to the gas station. The 12.5 kg that you buy for almost 10,000 naira. I got there, it was 7.5. I was like, wow. So of all, at least that's just the only thing for now that I can really say I've benefited a bit.
19th of July 2023 marked NNPC Limited's one-year anniversary since the unveiling of the company's new identity as a karma company, following the passage of the Petroleum Industry Act. This has enabled the company become commercially viable and standing at par with global competitors. Since the unveiling last year, the journey so far has been rewarding. Well, let's take you down memory lane with sights and sounds of this journey.
This indeed is a new day and a new opportunity to upscale our relevance as Africa's largest energy company.
And that's our show today. Many thanks for being a part of it this week. Keep a date with us same time next week. You can catch up on all episodes of Energy and You by scanning the QR code on your screen now. And do follow us on all social media handles showing on your screen to keep the conversation going. I'm Egosa Egombo. Take care, and we'll see you again. Bye.